Welcome to GODSpeed, where truth meets life in under 10 minutes. I'm AK, and this is hope for your journey.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Grace is free, an unmerited favor. It's getting something good that you didn't earn and honestly don't deserve. And the tricky part is, you're in the best place to receive it when you wouldn't even expect it. When you've messed up, when you failed, when you think there's no way back. That is when grace shows up. Today we find Jesus having dinner with people that someone from the outside might see and consider the rejects, the problem children, the individuals with less than squeaky clean reputations. Because in that culture, this was a scandal. Religious leaders and officials don't associate or spend time with people like this. And eating with someone was an intimate act. It represented acceptance, community, and approval. So when Jesus sits down to share a meal with these people, it's noticed. And he actually gets questioned. Let's jump in there. This comes from Mark chapter 2, verses 15 through 17. Later, Levi invited Jesus and his disciples to his home as dinner guests, along with many tax collectors and other disreputable sinners. There were many people of this kind among Jesus' followers. But when the teachers of religious law who were Pharisees saw him eating with tax collectors and other sinners, they asked his disciples, "Why does he eat with such scum?" When Jesus heard this, he told them, "Healthy people don't need a doctor. Sick people do. I have come to call not those who think they are righteous, but those who know they are sinners." Grace invites us into what we couldn't earn by our own goodness: love, acceptance, and the ability to be made new. I want to start by saying there is grace for mistakes. Yes, even that one. And yes, even for that person. That song, Amazing Grace, was intentional. Because if you know the backstory of the author, John Newton, it's powerful. As he was coming to understand God, he was involved in the slave trade, treating other human beings in the most inhumane way imaginable. And later, after encountering grace, he turned around and spoke against it. His transformation led him to write that hymn about grace that saved his life, that changed his life. And it's now sung by people of every background, of every race and color. And so if there's grace for that, for someone who participated in one of history's greatest evils, then there's grace for our mistakes too. There's grace for the lie that you told, the relationship you ruined, the person that you hurt, the addiction you can't shake, that past you're ashamed of. Grace doesn't ask us to change our life and then come. Grace says, "Come as you are, and I'll help you become who you're meant to be." which leads us to the point that we're all in need of a doctor. Jesus says it simply, healthy people don't need a doctor, sick people do. And he's not saying some people are better than others. He's saying some people are willing to admit they need help, while others believe they don't. And see, not admitting our sickness doesn't change our present situation. It delays our healing. You can pretend you're fine, that you're not in need of grace, that you're all good, but pretending doesn't make it true. It just keeps you from the help that you need. In the Bible, God is known by many names, but one of them is Jehovah Rapha, or Yahweh Rapha, which means the Lord who heals. He's called the Great Physician, not just for physical healing, but for mental, emotional, and spiritual healing too. Jesus embodied that work, healing people wherever he went, but not just their bodies, their entire lives. And here's what's beautiful. He seeks out and serves the ones everyone else avoids. See, the tax collectors were people who betrayed their own people for money. The sinners had bad reputations. The people who know they're broken and aren't pretending otherwise. That's who Jesus was eating with, communing with, to show that he is the one who both calls to them and is willing to heal them. And finally, grace is good news for everyone. If Jesus is willing to meet with those people, he's willing to meet with anyone. Regardless of your failure, your reputation, your past mistakes, he desires to dine with you. And so as we look at other cultures, different neighbors, people who maybe had a different life experience or made mistakes we couldn't fathom making, you realize they're still worthy of love, because you are too. That's the whole point. It isn't something we can work for. It's not something we're good enough to qualify ourselves for. It's a gift. Grace is free and without a fair trade. The truth is, none of us are worthy on our own. We're all sitting at the table with the tax collectors and sinners, and we should. And Jesus, he's not turned off by that. He came for the broken, the struggling, the sick. That's you. That's me. That's all of us. So receive what you don't deserve. Meet with the great physician and let him make you new. God, thank you that I'm never too far gone to be loved by you. Can you remind me that I'm yours, even before anything else changes? Amen.
I will always love you how I do. Let go of a prayer for you, just as we were.